Hello and welcome back to the Living a Joyful Life Summit. I'm Melissa McKay and I'm here with Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. He is the teacher and spiritual leader of the Turgar meditation community and recognized tulku of the Kagyu and Nyingma lineages of Tibetan Buddhism. Rinpoche is also the author of The Joy of Living, Unlocking the Secret and Science of Happiness, and In Love with the World, a monk's journey through the bardos of living and dying. His recent TED Talk, How to Tap into Your Awareness and Why Meditation is Easier Than You Think, has more than 2.2 million views. Welcome, Rinpoche. It's wonderful to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The first question as we get started is, how do you define joy?
So the joy is an experience of contentment and also appreciation and gratitude. So normally what we call dukkha is Sanskrit word, Sanskrit or Pali from India, ancient Indian, the term dukkha. Dukkha, the real meaning is dissatisfying. So that is the word for suffering or word for unpleasant, uneasiness, all the disturbance. So it doesn't matter what kind of object, what kind of phenomena, what kind of situation, if you feel that not satisfying, if you feel not content, if you feel that not appreciate, then whatever that thing may not make you happy. So the real happiness is like contentment, appreciation, gratitude.
You describe your personal exploration in your book, In Love with the World. What did your personal experiences teach you about the nature of joy?
So for me, of course, my early childhood was not so, although I have nice family, nice environment, but I have the internal problem, panic attacks. So there's a lot of issue, the mentally, emotionally, I have a lot of problem. But then I learned meditation from my father when I was 9 years old. So for me, the real sense of joy is discovering like potential, or another word is inner safe place, almost like. So my father told me about, because when I having panic attacks, he said, don't fight with the panic, let panic come and go. Why? Because at the beginning, I was really confused. I really want to learn meditation, try to get rid of my panic attacks. I want to fight with my panic attacks. And he said, don't. And I was big surprise. And he said, actually, you don't need to fight with the panic attacks. And he gave me example that the inner quality of our own mind, what we call awareness. And this awareness is like sky. You know, I was born in the Himalayan mountain. We have beautiful sky, but sky not always remain beautiful. Sometimes there's a thunderstorm, snowstorm comes. So he said the panic attacks is like these storms, this cloud in the sky. But the fundamental quality of our mind is like sky itself. So all these storms never change the nature of sky, no matter how strong it is, how turbulent, how even the pollution, it doesn't change the nature of sky. Sky is always beyond, present, free. And then he taught me how to discover that step-by-step practice. So for me, the real sense of joy is discovering my innate quality, almost like the fundamental quality of the mind. So when I discovered that more and more, then for me, like there's something which is inner safe place, almost unshakable, but still life is up and down. Still there's a happy moment, sad moment. It's like a wave of the ocean, but below the wave, there's calm water.
And so this awareness that your father taught you, this helped you to overcome the panic attacks and anxiety?
Yes, that awareness has really helped me to overcome my panic attacks. Actually, it's not really kind of like overcome. It's almost like making friends with the panic attacks. So for me, the big problem is panic of panic, fear of panic, aversion of panic. So that makes panic become bigger. But then slowly, I make friends with the panic attacks. Then in the end, I can accept it. So though symptoms still there for a while, but then deeper level, it's like inner sky always there, and the panic can come, can stay, can dissolve. Normally, I only have panic. Me and the panic become one. But now I discovered that there's something else beyond than panic. So that really helps. So it took me 5 years. Not so easy, I learned meditation when I was 9 until 13. So then in the end, all the symptoms there, panic symptom like heartbeat, speed up, tight around my neck, and a lot of image, frightened, kind of like a thought, voices, pala pala pala, yada yada yada, a lot of sensation in the body, everything there. But at the same time, I feel exciting, deeper level. I can see how they're coming from awareness, stay in awareness, dissolve into awareness, change in awareness. And awareness always there. It is calm, beyond, present. Then after few months later, panic also gone. The panic attacks is gone. Of course, still, if there's danger, I may feel panic, but the panic attacks is totally gone.
So what can our viewers do to apply this understanding in their lives?
So I think one thing is to getting familiar with our own mind. So normally when we think about our own mind, we only see thought and emotion. We don't see the nature quality of the thought and emotion itself. So the nature quality of our mind, so what we call lucidity, is this kind of like sometimes what I call luminosity, sometimes what we call clarity, sometimes what we call awareness. So there's so many names about that. So one time someone asked me, please give me example. I don't understand what you're talking about. So then I was thinking, like, when I was young, I watched one movie. I went to one big movie theater, and then there's it's an action movie, So I like when I was young, I really like action movie. So then there's a projector projecting the light on the big screen, and then what we see is these stories. They are fighting like very danger, and there's a like kind of like a heroic, like a kind of person comes. Then there's challengers. There's some kind of like enemy, and there's very danger, and there's a good person, very really evil person, and there's a different light, dark, yellow, green, bright. But then in the end, all these are the manifestation of the light, right? Evil is light. That good person is also light. The dark color is light. Yellow is light. Green is light. Everything's a manifestation of the light. So the fundamental quality of mind has this lucid quality. That now I think you can see me, right? You can hear, you can smell. So everything's open. But then what happened normally, we stuck with the stories. we're lost with the stories. But then if you slowly get familiar with your own mind, then the lucidity quality of the mind always there. Even if you feel dull, that dullness, foggy, essence of that is lucidity, is clarity. Unhappy, but the essence is luminosity. Of course, happy also luminosity. So for that luminosity, it doesn't matter what kind of experience, what kind of image, what kind of voice. It doesn't matter. It's really beyond the lucid quality of the mind. So when we get familiar with that, then slowly you will find whatever happen, whatever you do, this lucid quality is always there.
Mm. And then what did your personal journey teach you about your authentic self or your true nature?
Yeah, so self is a really confusing aspect, you know. So when I was young, I was confused because I recognize as tulku. Tulku meaning somebody's reincarnated. But I really like science stuff, you know. If I'm not follow the Tulku's direction, I may become scientist now. So am I scientist? Am I Tulku? Am I just a child? Am I a panicky person? So one time I was learning these meditations, and then there are three important aspects of meditation. The first is to connect with awareness, just knowing. Then there's innate love and compassion. So love and compassion with us 24 hours. And number three is wisdom. So wisdom, one of the important question is, who am I? So my father asked me, who are you? And I have big gap. Yeah, who am I? Of course, I'm Mingyur Rinpoche. Who is Mingyur Rinpoche? It's the body, it's the mind, it's the name, it's my possession, it's my job, my role. And you cannot find one thing, what we call is connecting, interdependent. The connection is the me, actually. So the true self, actually, beyond concept. Of course, normally we talk about three layers, three sense of self. So the outer level or surface level is what we call unhealthy sense of self. Then if you go deeper, we talk about healthy sense of self. Then the core, the essence, what we call luminous self or self beyond self. So normally we have these three layers. The outer level normally is the egoistic, the selfish, what we call permanent, meaning we don't like change. We don't like unexpected surprise, you know. There's no flexibility. And singularity, we hold like one, almost like my way, my idea, my possession. So I have to win, others need to lose, some kind of that subtle level. And then there's independent, which is we want to control. So controlling, you have to win, and don't like unexpected surprise. Combine these two together, then it's become very sensitive, touchy. So that's the normally suffer a lot. That self is very suffer. But what we call that unhealthy sense of self is only 10%. We have more healthy sense of self, which is self with the compassion, awareness, love, and the wisdom. So unhealthy says, don't care about others. But if you follow that, you feel not happy actually. Even you become successful, you will not feel happy. But if you help others, you feel really happy, deeper level. You feel like that's who you are. That means you have more healthy sense of self. Who you are is more healthy, more kind. Deeper level, we are quite kind. We are a loving person. And of course, when we learn more, we feel more happy. If you don't know, we confuse, suffer a lot of problems. So wisdom and awareness, If you watch your breathing, just bring awareness, breathing in, breathing out. Looks like stupid practice, First time I learned meditation is the breathing meditation. And I feel like stupid, Every day I'm watching my breathing. I know I'm breathing. Why I have to be aware of this every day? I asked this to my father. But actually, that is connecting with awareness. So you feel happy actually. Don't know why? Even the scientists don't know why. But just bringing with what in our tradition, what we call, the more you connect with the deeper level of yourself, you feel more happy. So awareness, love and compassion, wisdom, these are the healthy sense of self. Then if you go more deeper, then there's a luminous self or self beyond self or non-conceptual self. So there's three. So for me, of course, I go through step by step. And at the beginning, I have a lot of unhealthy sense of self and I stuck with that. But now me and my unhealthy sense of self become friends. So now I feel content.
Rinpoche, can you talk about some of the Buddhist teachings relating to joy?
Yes, so Buddhist teaching, the joy is, as I mentioned before, is appreciation, gratitude. And the joy is not like an experience of, like we drink coffee, you get high. If you win the lottery, for a few months maybe. I have a lot of discussion with the scientists, and some of them just did research about happiness. They look winning lottery, marriage, and having good salary, all this. And all this cannot change the baseline, what they call baseline. So if you win the lottery, you may become happy for a few months, then come back to the baseline. Marriage, I don't want to say too much, but few years ago they said it's longer, but now they said it's only maybe 2 years. Happiness go up, then come back to the baseline. So, but when we connect with awareness, love and compassion and wisdom, then we feel the sense of something right. Not the sense of right and wrong, kind of like right, but sense that there's something that you feel like you are being with yourself. A sense of okay, sense of well-being, sense of, because most of the time, suffering, meaning dissatisfying. So there's hollow. There's something not right. There's something insecurity. There's something sometimes lonely or incompleteness. But in the Buddhist, joy meaning that incompleteness is gone. Feeling of completeness, feeling of security in a way, feeling of well-being, content. And that feeling is very powerful in a way. It's soft, but it's really powerful. And that really can change your perspective, of course, your feeling, your thought, your emotion, how you interact with yourself and others to the world. And that is a last long normally, a lasting kind of like feeling.
Mm. So what core Buddhist principles are essential for living a life infused with joy and fulfillment?
So in Buddhism, special in my meditation lineage, we talk about two things. Normally what we call true accomplishment. Meaning, one, to help yourself, that to discover your innate qualities, these great qualities within ourselves: awareness, love and compassion, wisdom. And Buddha said, actually, by nature, everybody is Buddha. You know, I'm Buddha, you Buddha, all beings are by nature is Buddha. By nature, everybody is perfect. And it is not incomplete, it's complete. It's whole, it's precious. But we are not recognized that. So we are lost with our own fixation mind, and then that create unhealthy sense of self, grasp. So we lost. So the first is to discover yourself, helping yourself. Second is helping others as much as you can to help your friends, family, social, world, whatever you can to help others. So these two things, actually the real sense of purpose, sense of meaning of life.
In your book, The Joy of Living, you explore the convergence of ancient meditation techniques and, like you said earlier, modern science. Can you talk about this blend of wisdom and scientific understanding and how it can deepen our meditation practice and enhance our experience of joy?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, that I really interested in science since childhood. So when I was young, I really interested cosmology. You know, I look at the moon, then I see stars, and then I wonder how big they are and how all this exists out there. Then slowly I interested in neuroscience, about the brain, and then also physics. It's very, very interesting. Then we learn in Buddhism, the Buddhist philosophy, we have kind of like our own physics. So actually, Buddha talked about the atom and subatomic particles 2,600 years before already. We have subatomic particle around 9 to 15 different type of subatomic particles. Then when we look at the subatomic particles, another subatomic particles, and then it's kind of like light, you know, like energy, light. Then in the end, cannot find it. Buddha said, in the end, not really exist, but it doesn't mean nothing. Because of it not exist, can appear. Anything's possible. Can appear, yet that doesn't exist. Then people ask, then where's the universe come from? Buddha said, your own mind, the projection of your own mind. Buddha gave example, if you squeeze your eyes, you will see double moon. If someone asks you, that double moon exists? Of course not. But then I can see double moon very clear. How? And the only answer is perception, your own perception. So me, you, this earth, entire universe is perception of our own mind. Now many scientists talk about that. Some scientists talk about like cosmic consciousness, and even the early time, like Schrodinger cat, cat in the box, until
Schrödinger's
you
cat.
open up Schrodinger's cat, right? Without perceiver, you cannot really determine the object. And recently, I think this, especially in the quantum mechanic, this explosion more. So very close now, but still not yet. What not yet is, in the end, is beyond concept, and that need to look inward. When you look out, you cannot really find that one. So that is not yet, the physics not yet come to that, but it's very close. What I'm saying, the knocking the door of beyond concept. and also like neuroscience. So in our tradition, we talk about the prana, bindu, nadi. So nadi is like nerve, like neurons. Bindu is a drop, like cells. And prana is the movement, the energy movement, like everything moving. Electric charge also, all this entire body. And not only in the brain, also we talk about in the heart, in the stomach, entire body, all this prana, bindu, nadi. So it's quite similar. So the main thing is what I discover is the fundamental level, what Buddha said, don't take my words because I say so. You can take it, my word, just like gold, you cut, you rub, and you burn. When you do that, the gold become more genuine. So take it, my words. Try, contemplate, learn, contemplate, meditate, do experiment, and see how it works or not. Then you can take it. So the fundamental level is very similar. And then the way how to explore, like according to physics, according to mind, a lot of things are very similar. And much more in Buddhism, there's a beyond concept, and there's so many different things that we can special, what we call the being mind. So being mind is not really talk about in science because it's not doesn't apply logic. Being mind is it's just being. That is the meditation, and also the innate love and compassion. Not much in science yet. And then fundamental quality awareness also, like I discussed with the neuroscience, cognitive science, very similar. A lot of things how mind works, very similar, but fundamental quality, the lucidity mind, the knowing and clear, that still cannot grab in science. So still they talk about percept, memory, feeling, emotion, thought, cognitive. But these are, of course, part of the mind is function. But the fundamental quality, that knowing, is still scientists discussing. So it's, the Buddhists, we have so much clear about that. So I think there's so many similarity there.
Yeah, we spoke with Dan Siegel, who's a scientist, about this very similarly, and he said that I found interesting and related to the Buddhist principles that on the quantum level there are no nouns, so no objects, no person, place, thing. And on the Newtonian level, there's nouns, but in the quantum level, there's this verbing. He called it verbing, so like an action changing process. And I thought, oh, that's like ultimate and conceptual reality, kind of on a scientific level.
Yes. So yeah, in Buddhism, of course, in the gross level, mind and matter are two different things. But then when we look at the more subtle level, mind and matter is kind of like not really a separate thing. So we talk about horse and the rider. Mind is the rider, the matter is the horse, like body and mind. So they are kind of like manifest two, but in a way inseparable.
Mhm. So, how can we turn towards joy and cultivate it when going through challenging or difficult times?
For me, finding that inner space, the in another word, inner safe place, and that is always there, no matter what you experience, up and down, right and wrong. Life is like normal. I talk about life is like stock market, go always up and down. Up, there's a luminosity. Down, there's also luminosity. So, one time I went to the mountain. There's a bay, like ocean, go into the mountain, and the side of the bay there's a like lump, the huge kind of like piles of woods, like dead woods, not cut. People cut what you call log, right? And on the next to them, the water. And I asked people there because there's no car road, nothing. How people will bring this to them, like factory? And they said by boat. Nice. I look, there's a one tiny boat is coming, and behind the boat there's tiny rope, and they rope tied that there's another rope with a lock, and then there's a one kind of like pillar. They and they remove that, then all the log went to the water. Now it's flowing, and that tiny boat took that huge the lumps of this wood. So I thought, oh, that's a good example about our innate quality. So our awareness is like water. A problem, ups and down, whatever happened to us is like that wood. If that wood on the dry land, then huge, strong, and you cannot really change it. You cannot really move. But it's on the water, very light now. You can move, you can change. So whatever comes in our life, we have this special practice about how to bring that problem as support for awareness, support for love and compassion, support for wisdom. So I had panic attacks, and my father taught me first I have to get familiar with my awareness with the breathing. So it's like being with the breath, breathing in, breathing out, just knowing that. We have this quality of the lucidity, knowing the breathing in, out, being with the breath. And slowly, not just breath, sound, visual object, sensation. Then slowly, not only that, thought, emotion. In the end, panic attacks. So if you watch your panic attacks, be with your panic attacks, then the awareness become more than panic attack, bigger than panic attack. Panic is just an object, and awareness is much more. And there's space, like automatically there's space between you and panic attacks. What we call, when you see the river, you're out of river. You're not in the river. So you don't need to make that space. You don't need to get rid of panic attacks. You don't have to do anything. Just being with that. Then all this, what we call liberation, freedom, comes byproduct. You don't have to look for freedom, liberation, happiness comes by byproduct. So it's almost like act of watching panic attacks is eventually inner happiness. Cause become the long-term happiness. So there's an example, one example. Similarly, you can find innate love and compassion within the panic attacks, and also wisdom. So whatever happened, life, up, wonderful, happy, inspired, down, learn more, grow more.
Do you have any thoughts on spiritual community and its relationship to authentic connections and living a joyful life?
We need to see what kind of spiritual. Sometimes we lost with spiritual materialism, we lost with spiritual ego, we lost with the spiritual concept. Like sometimes I go to the meditation centers and there's a lot of fake smile. Hello, you know, and then and then sometimes suppress a lot of unhealthy sense of self, and then eventually become like volcano eruption. So really important is the real meaning of spiritual practice is to, for us, is to really go deep into your true nature, to discover awareness, love and compassion, and the wisdom, and not just on the cushion, to discover this on the cushion, and we bring this in everyday life, and special with the what we call two things, clashes and the suffering. So clashes meaning like hatred, craving, pride, egoistic, all this emotional disturbance, you transform. You don't need to fight with them. You don't need to suppress them. If you fight, suppress them, they will become worse. For example, be kind, not angry, not angry. Anger comes like volcano eruption, then become worse. Then we feel disappointed. Oops, Or normally I talk about, if you said, don't think about pizza, what happened? We think about pizza more. So that's how our mind does. But don't fight. But don't not totally lost. You connect with the awareness through these clashes. You can even you can even be with anger, hatred, all this selfish. You can be with that. When you be with that, then there becomes support for awareness. They lose power, not just that, they become support for your meditation. And then second is suffering. Suffering, I mean the ups and downs, special down moment of life, disappointment, panic, depression, lonely, stress, relationship problem, work problem, so many problems in our life. So when we also using them as support for awareness, compassion, wisdom, what we call obstacle become opportunity, problem become solution. So if we can do that, then we can live with the spiritual life, not just on the cushion, also off cushion. So that's, I think, really important aspect.
Thank you for sharing that wisdom with us. Can you also tell us what are your greatest sources of joy?
Discovering myself. So for me, I finally make friends with my panic attacks when I was 13 years old. That time I was in a retreat actually. So I had panic actually when I was, I think, 7 and 8 years old. At the beginning, I didn't know. But then when I was 9, I felt very strong panic attack. And I learned meditation. But of course, it's up and down. I really want to fight with the panic attacks. And I come back, become stronger, and sometimes lazy. And when I was 13, there's a 3-year retreat start. I thought, good for me. Not lazy. If I go to the retreat, my laziness will not come with me. So I joined the retreat. First month, good. Second month, lazy come back. The lazy is international. Then my laziness invite my panic attacks to become worse. life in the retreat become disaster because it's a really like protected place. But if our mind become enemy, then worse, right? Getting worse. So I thought, should I leave the retreat or stay? If I leave, I feel embarrassed because I told all my childhood friends, I can do this. When we were young, peer pressure is so strong, right? My friends, what they said is very strong. So I thought maybe I will not leave. But if I stay, almost 3 years to go. And in the end, I decided to make really friends with my panic attacks. So in the end, panic becomes support for my meditation. So I feel happiness through the panic attacks. At the beginning, it's unthinkable. But eventually by training, it's like learning new skill. Possible. Still pain there, but I feel excited, kind of happy. So then slowly, panic's gone, but I have another friends. Life has full of problems, right? I can make friends. So for me, the real source of joy is when I connect with this innate quality. And then sometime life perfect, of course happy. Some turbulence comes at the beginning, little bit kind of like concern, but then in the end, more happy.
Are there any final thoughts that you can share with the audience on living a joyful life?
So the most important, don't look the joy out there. What we call dukkha, meaning dissatisfying. Of course, I don't mean the outer world, outer phenomena, not good. I'm not saying winning lottery not good, marriage not good. Wonderful, wonderful. If you have those, wonderful. Good job, salary, all these are good. But these are not the real source of happiness or joy. Because if mind, somehow the well-being, the real source of joy not discovered within you, no matter how much you look, only temporary. You feel a little bit happy, then back to baseline. Then you think, oh, this is not good. I need that one. And then you look for that and you think, oh, this is not the same as what I expected. I feel bored. I need to change. Then the other one. Then eventually, what we call bottomless bag without bottom. Whatever we put, it only fill temporary and become empty. But actually, you have everything. We all, by nature, perfect. We all have this wonderful quality, sometimes what we call basic goodness, innate well-being, our inner enlightened nature. So actually, we are more than what we believe. So, of course, don't only look out. The real source of happiness is in us, always there with us.
Thank you for that, Rinpoche. And how can people learn more about you and your work?
Yeah, we have this Tergar spelling, Tergar, Tergar meditation community. You can find many places. It's worldwide, more focused on the community and the path practice. So we don't have so much the real estate, but more focus on the practice. You can find, I think there's I don't do very detailed involvement about the organization, but I'm more focused on the teaching. But there's, I think, website, all the details there.
Okay. Thank you for that, Rinpoche, and thank you for being here with us today.
Welcome. Thank you.